Hello, this is Rorschach here, and we are going to be going through all of the patches that have been done so far to the game, starting with the first one ever. Now, if you didn't watch the other video, or if you were confused what's going on, or you're new here, do not worry, I'll give a brief explanation before we begin. Pax Nora, the game, around 2017, the dev team kind of fell through, and the game became sort of lost in limbo, with no changes being done for over 3 years until August 20th, 2020, when, by sheer luck, we are able to start making very limited changes. What can we change? We can change stats, we can remove abilities, we can add on new abilities, and that's kind of the basis of what we can do. And we can only do those to champions and relics, and very limited on the relic aspect too. Excuse me. Moving forward, what has that kind of done for us? Well, we can't really mess around with spells or equipment, but we can adjust Nor cost. We can also take things that are bugged or seem unfair to the game and ban them from rank play. So this is basically what we've done overall in the time we've been able to touch things. So let's get into it, guys. So starting in August 20th, 2020, we were finally able to make changes after 3 years of no change. So what did we change? Well, first of all, we'll start right here. Skizik Trigger no longer has Relic Overload. Why was that change kind of implemented? Well, the main reason was it got the relic version of the ability, which costed 0 AP and had no set cooldown besides after using it. The champion made one has an AP of 3, and I believe it comes on cooldown. Don't quote me, I might be wrong, but that was the big difference. Was before you could play this guy and use a 0 AP cost ability and deal 15 damage to all the relics on the map. And now, or it might have been 10 damage. Like I said, don't quote me. I haven't really messed around with it, but that was the main motivation behind the change, was just making it more fair because it got the wrong ability. Go on next. Flood Generator and Sludge Pool have been banned from ranked games due to crashing, stuff like that. What happened was we have a new client. You know, new is a very loose word to use. Before the game went under, it was made into a new client from the Java to a Unity. And the reason behind that was to let PS4 players gain access. Well, the problem is Flood Generator and Sludge Pool, no matter how good your computer was or anything like that, after a certain amount of time, if it spread enough to enough tiles, it would cause a memory leak and crash your game. And it was frustrating. Some people were losing because people would just stall out and eventually the game would crash. Broodlord was banned from rank due to a bug with... it wasn't Hunter Small. I want to say it's Hunter Meek or something along that line that had Trample, and it would proc 4 damage instead of the 2 damage because of Trample. Trample was replaced with Sand Breach. Now it's playable, and it's really good. It made the mix a lot better than what they were. This is a big one. Ice Fang. You know what Ice Fang is? It's a Savage Tundra as a midterm legendary. For 3 years, it dominated rank pretty heavily. It was 72 HP for it was 72 Nora for 60 HP, and it has range stance, so it became effectively a 1-5 range unit, and it has an ability called Kinetic Impulse, which for every square that it attacks further, it gains plus damage on, and people will be equipping it with Canine Crown to give it an extra range, stuff like that, and it just seemed really unfair. Well, I'm partially responsible for this one because I showed another player that you could equip Reaper's Blade to it, and it would proc Reaper's Blade, which gives you Soul Strike, which makes your damage 0, but it does 25% of your maximum HP on hit, and it would add the Kinetic Impulse, so you could basically 2-shot anything off the board. Not to mention that Ice Fang also has Zeal Speed, so after 2 attacks, it's usually around 8 or 9 speed, which is pretty ridiculous. So now it has been given unequipable, and the cost has been raised to 75. So still really good, but not that crazy. It'll probably pop up later on in a different patch, but it also got its attack from Frost changed to Sonic, so it couldn't be used in Frost Stamp, which was one of its main offenders, because it'd be hitting for like 22 damage per hit no matter what. This is another one, Call to Arms. It used to be an ability in the game. There was a problem where the idea of the ability is if you attack, you get -2 Nora off the next Ranger or Comrade that has it. The problem is it would never empty out the pool. So if you kept using Call to Arms, it would just keep stacking. And it was very unfortunate because then you'd start getting free units after, 20 minutes of playing. So we removed that. These are the changes that every champion that had it got removed with. So Aurora Inspector got Camaraderie. Baby Slag got Acid Aura 2. Barbarian Exemplar got Coal. Caustic Slag got... It says Camaraderie. Makes sense. Never seen that card in a long time. Centaur Bolter got Leap 2. Crystal Howler got Camaraderie. Deep Elf Fanatic got Bravery. Frostwolf got Encouraged. Goblin Brute got Camaraderie. Jilumbrum Lightbringer got Fellowship. Kanan Howler got Hunter Brawler. Moga Recruiter got Bravery. Mounted Kinsman got Bravery. Mixed Sand Lion / Sand Snipe got Trail Sand. The reason you see this is because there's a common variant and then a limited edition recolor variant. Salomon Picket got Initiative 1. Skywing Agitator got Burn 1. Thorton Hawker got Detection 2. Ward of Alir got Bravery. By the way, if I mispronounce stuff, I do apologize. I know everyone has their own way of saying things, and honestly, it's pretty common for me to just say something completely random. And it's just how my brain kind of helps process those really big fantasy words and just normal words in general. There's also been a known bug. It still is a bug, but we tried to kind of fix it here, which is Nora Miner, which is found on like Scorched Dwarf and other stuff like that. Those have been adjusted to kind of fit the price. And the bug is the ability states that it gets certain X amount of Nora, but actually it gets more than that. So this is what you're kind of seeing down here where they swapped out abilities and stuff. And I'll let you guys read that and not read it out. All right, that's the first patch. Let's go back in. That's August 20th, 2021. Let's go to August 31st, 2020. All right, here's one of our big first patches, and it's kind of split up here, so it's actually very, very helpful. So, champions that both have Amphibious and Murkwater Frenzy baseline no longer have Amphibious. MF already gives it. MF being Murkwater Frenzy. So, Snaptooth have Murkwater Frenzy. Most of them do. The melee guys do. And it already gave them a fist, so you're getting Amphibious twice. So that's just a nice little change of life. Mammoth Club has been disabled from rank due to bugs. I do not remember the bug for Mammoth Club, but I do remember it was bugged. And I do apologize for that. Scarletter loses Blood Tracker baseline to match Bloodletter. Basically, the limited edition version was better than the uncommon version, so we just kind of mirrored the LE to match the uncommon, so that way it's fair. Skeletal Rifleman loses vulnerability and aim baseline to match Pyro the Patient. Same thing. Limited edition versus non-limited edition, they just match now. Festival Michael's Special Abash. Special Abash is replaced with a normal Abash as it doesn't work. So Festival Micah, it's a limited edition. It was originally Feshcaller Micah, the legendary, and it had a very special Abash, which was supposed to have a special animation, and it was not working. So we just kind of swapped them around. That way you could play her, and it wouldn't be a kind of a sandbag to your gameplay. Crystal Crawler's Trail Crystal has been replaced with Creep and Crawl to prevent bugs. Pretty normal. Cool. I'm not going to say that word because I know I'm going to butcher it. I want to say Ethereal. Hey, we got it, guys. Ethereal Pool has been disabled from ranked. No one liked that card. The people who did like it are a little bummed out, but it was an unfun deck that was punishing new players at the game. Why it was kind of swapped out. Okay, first one, Fugler Swamp. Burke Thornflinger, HP set to 50, class change from Monk to Ranger, Nature's Connection added to Upgrade Path 1. I don't really remember the old Thornflinger, and I'm going to be honest, this change hasn't done anything for him. Plants and trees and FS still aren't that great, so he still kind of sits. It was kind of a miss on our part, and it wasn't my original idea, but I was hoping it would work out for him, and it still hasn't, which is unfortunate. Next one. Jilumbrum Sky Collar, the rare. Chain Lightning removed from base. Upgrade Path 1 to Jolt 2, Chain Lightning, and Lightning Skewer. This was huge difference. Before, Sky Collar. He was like 80 Nora, and he wasn't that great. It's not tanky, and it was kind of a not a great rune to run unless you were playing jellies. With this, he's now 70. You can run at like 74 or a little bit higher, and he is just an absolute great side font getter and all that stuff. And I really like that change. It was super good. Mirefolk Stalker, Deep Dive replaced by Dive 3. This was pretty big because Deep Dive lets you dive anywhere on the map that has water, and the guy cost around 56 Nora. So before, you would literally play him out, and then you could take anyone's font on like turn 2. It was super unfair, and especially when font, the generator, the water generator was still going, it was just super unfair. Psychic Anguish replaced by Soul Tap on everyone but Jilumbrum Extaspicer. Sorry guys, I had a big bowl of pasta, and it's starting to come back, and I really hope you guys aren't hearing it, but I'll just say again, excuse me. So going back, Psychic Anguish, this was pretty big because this was during a time when a lot of players were coming back due to COVID when it first came out, and there is at least 3 or 4 champions that had Psychic Anguish, and basically what a Psychic Anguish does is if someone attacks with a Psychic basic attack, it gave them Soul Tap, and then you would partner that with the Stillwater Mutant, which if someone has Soul Tap, or if any psychic damage is done, you get the Soul Tap, right? Well, Stillwater Mutant's ability is once he falls below half HP, every enemy on the battlefield would take psychic damage, and if they are Soul Tapped, they would get ensnared and become confused. So having Psychic Anguish out while having Stillwater out was a very powerful combo, and people started running them in a Folklore Swamp Underdepths meta, which is called FSUD Psychic, and you would throw in some Vosair Overlords, and it was just super, super hard to beat, and a lot of the top people were running it at the time, so people realized that it needed to get its power checked a little bit, so that way it wasn't dominating rank anymore. Moving down, we got Exorcist, range to 3-5, removed Exorcism from the game. Exorcism is if they're a Wrath champion, they would take 20 damage. Added Solidify to base, removed Cleanse from base, added Spell Swallower to base, Heal Self ranks 1, 2, and 3 removed from upgrade 2, Cleanse added to upgrade 2, Dispel added to upgrade 2, Cleansing Flame added to upgrade 2. What does that mean? Exorcist now, instead of doing what he did before, which was kind of nothing, you just kind of ran him for Exorcism. Now what he does is he is a Cleansing Flame, so you have Dispel, he has Spell Swallower, and he's a very cheap ranged dwarf option, which is super good for dwarves because they didn't have any Dispel. The only Dispel in the game for IS at that time was either a Blink effect using the spell's Blink, or there's the rare that redeploys the champion and gives it Majestic. I can't remember the name of it right away. Or you'd run Pureblood Planeswalker, which anytime it attacks, it dispels and confuses the enemy champion. Speaking of Pureblood, let's go down. Upgrade line replaced with Spell Swallower, Resonance Vengeful. They did that because they actually nerfed him a bit. It raised his cost, and it got rid of something else, because before you could run him for like 74, and now the cheapest I think you can get is 76. So it was more of a lateral shift, so that way he wasn't auto in every deck that IS ran. Eroding Winds was 40, went to 45. The spell's really good, it still is, but people were kind of like, whoa, why is this spell so cheap for the, kind of the play it has on the game? Which, if you don't know what Eroding Winds is, every shrine and font deployment zone for 2 turns, well, 2 of your turns, 3 in general, you'll take 2 or 3 knockback damage, become rended 4, and then it just does minor damage. So if you're sitting in a bad spot and your champs are all clumped together, or there's like lava or terrain, that spell would just throw you out into the middle of nowhere, and it could instantly kill a person or really hurt you, and it was just super good early on too. Moving on, Nymph, old card but redone, right? Base cost lowered to 70 to 77 Nor with upgrades. A Bash base, Fairy Flight base, upgrade line, Distracting Blows, Soothing Serenade, Hinder Movement. You get the idea. If you want to read it, you can look at it. I'm now going to start focusing on the changes it was made to, right? So what was Nymph's main target? Well, Nymph was kind of nothing. It was just an elf, and it was made into a fairy support. And it worked out pretty well. And I would say overall, the people who do play fairies are happy with her. Mentalist got reworked a little bit. I don't know why. But I guess Old Man needed a new trick in his bag, which is fine because he's now phenomenal. His upgrade line became Illuminate, Regeneration 2, and that word. We're not going to try that one, guys. And upgrade line 2 is Magic Aura, Magic Beam, and Grant Teleport. This is super great. You can get Grant Magic Aura and Illuminate, or Regeneration 2 and, you know, Grant Teleport or something. Most people do the Grant Magic Aura, and you basically just sit back and you have this wonderful thing, right? I do believe, though, that this was changed again at a later iteration, so that's not going to be the final Mentalist, so stay tuned to see what he became after this. Aurora Lancer, as you can see, you can read that. Just make him better. He was a little overcosted. Great Eagle got redone. It is now runnable, and it's pretty fun. Bowmage got a little, you know, change, make him more playable in the kit. Thorn Trap increased. You're going to see this vary a lot. You're going to see a lot of things get increased a little bit, and then in a couple more patches, they'll get increased more. The reason Thorn Trap went up, and it goes up again in the future, is because people were finding ways to do knockback or relocation of the enemy, and they put a Thorn Trap down, and someone did the math, and it's like, if you hit 3 enemy targets with a Thorn Trap, your speed gets reduced to like 3 or 4 for a long time, 4 turns, I think, which is crazy good. It basically makes you not able to do anything, and then you get Ren 5, and someone did the math, and it was like 25 Nor to do like almost 50 damage of dot if they don't cleanse it for 25. It's pretty silly. Fey Enchantress got some redone. Ranger Elite got replaced. People were really not happy with her. She used to be 80 Nora, 8 speed champ with initiative 2, and you'd play her out and she'd have surge enemy and arrow shot someone, and it was very aggressive. Forest Lurper, this one was pretty big too. Startled replaced by Enrage 2. He used to cost 74, have stealth and stuff like that, and Startled would give him +8 damage, and he has Blitz. So you'd have like a 74 Nora Ranger coming out with like 24 damage. Pretty fun, but replaced because it was kind of deemed too unfair. Grimlock's Bane was 35, went to 40. People thought it was too good. Vishal Ranger got a +5 because people thought it was just a little too good. We're going to keep going. Oh, this one's pretty good. Woodland Scales. All the Nora relics went to deck limit 1 because someone was making a deck where it was a scale deck, and you'd play 2 of the scales, and then you'd run a bunch of champions with Soften, and basically all of your enemies' champions would have -8 defense. It was pretty ridiculous. So it got changed. Savage Tundra. You know, just some minor cost shift. This one right here, particularly the baby furball, it got raised up because it was unfair that that card can't be got unless you have the limited edition version of it, and only the certain players did, and people were kind of abusing that factor. Crystal Phoenix was changed to have Planner Bound, and the reason because of that was because people were running a Crystal Phoenix, which cost around 45-50 Nora, and then they were playing the spell Swap, and basically being able to one-round something. So now you can't do that combo anymore. Chorusing saw some new things. That was just to breathe some life into him. He wasn't really played a lot, and now he is someone really good. He has Battle Hardened 2 and Warlord, so you can drop him down and give a boost to all your minions and stuff like that, and just run him in. And then his other version also got, I don't think his other version got reworked at all, but his other version is super solid. It has, I think, Chain Lightning, Obsidian Shield, and just great stats, and like Conqueror, so if he's in a font, he's doing great. Serinda got a minor thing. Unfortunately, she still doesn't see that much play. This is another big one. This is another Era of Pox that if you weren't here or you forgot about it. Skeletons were running rampant. Summons were really bad. So Dark Rising took a hit to 55. Bone Mine took a hit to 35. And Bone Slave was replaced, stun replaced by Cripple. Some minor things. Deep Cave Extractor got a +5 and 2 HP. He will receive a future nerf later on. Heinen Flame Fist. This is the first, I believe, 4 nerfs to this one. I do not know why. Loses Initiator, -2 damage. That's an okay change, but near the ladder, it feels like we were just kicking a guy while he was down. It was like he seemed pretty fun and fair, and then people were like, let's just really, you know, add insult to injury. Peaks Merid sees a +4, still seen all the time in today. Draxer Marine saw a shift to kind of enable an FS split. I feel like that's a miss on our part, but not really a hit. Whatever. Firestorm went down to 55. Totem of the Fallen got a nice thing right here where it replaced Lethargic, replaces Weighty, so it can move more. Dune's Mana Core, you'll see another nerf in the future. We'll talk about it then. Primordial Enigma got -1 speed, nor cost unchanged. That's actually not true. I believe it went up to Nora. Master Trapsmith. This guy used to plague everybody. Tiny Dragon, also known as Tony Jargon. Used to run a SL Shattered Peaks knockback BG where he would use traps and it just demolished people. And we kind of checked that into place. We didn't like people not having fun with that idea. So it was kind of checked into place. Sandstorm went up in cost a little bit. Moving on to the Underdepths. This one was a miss. It's still not good. We'll come back to it in a little bit, but it's still not good. Void Spider, this is the Psychic Anguish we were talking about, got replaced. Nefarious Schemer, another Anguish champion, got replaced to kind of not dissuade that use of FSUD, but to not make it so easy. Bowser Overlord had Unleash, which was being powered by summons we talked about earlier, and it was just really good, so it also took a knock. The two most powerful legendaries would have been Overlord and Ice Fang, and they both got nerfs this patch to help balance it out. Rip Demon was really cheap and really good. It got kind of a knockback with added Nora costs, minus damage, stuff like that. Not added Nora cost. I mean, Fire Nova 3 was added to base, and it lost 2 damage. As you can see, there's no changes for Leos. Thorntons, though, I love Thorntons. This was something I'm still working. I'm going to call it the Thorton Crusade. It's a still ongoing process. This is the first of few changes that really help it out. Repeater got more damage, less death, different upgrades. So you can now run Punish and Defensive Strike for, I believe, 76 or 75 Nora. Super helpful. Portal Mage, you can love it or hate it. Most people at first hated it, but a few have seen that they've learned to love it. It got rid of the summon ability and the charges it had, and it became a support that gave out a lot of mobility. So what does that mean is you now have swap ranks on upgrade 1, and you now have Buffer, Thornton's Trade, or Flourish. I take Thornton's Trade personally because it's really helpful. And then you got Grant Teleport added to base. It's around 60 something Nora if you run what I gave it, and it just really helps it out early game. Thornton Favored also changed. Really good change in my opinion as well. Damage was changed to 12. Base range 3 to 5. Base def to 1. It gained Illuminate, Heal 3, Distracting Blows, Tidal Wave, Quest Support, and Spell Swallower. I believe we changed Quest Support. I think it became Heal Mass 3 later on. We'll have to check in after that. But basically the idea is you can run double heal, or you can run Illuminate and Spell Swallower over here, or you can run Distracting Blows, and it becomes a really nice utility mage pick. Kanan Cultist designates Scapegoat to base, Rite of Healing to upgrade line 2. It is now seen in meta and canon, really good. This one's really big here. Stitch Merge, -4 Nora, Deconstruct remove from base. Merge now is a monster. You can run at 85 Nora. It has Tough 1 Absorb. It has like 18 base, like when it comes in with the UD bonus and stuff, it has like 18 base damage, Exertion 3, and it has like something crazy like 75 HP or something like that for 85. It is just a monstrous unit. Stitch Magician, Magic being replaced by Magic Bomb rank 2. We'll come back to the Stitch later on. The Stitch had a problem where a player kind of broke the game because they would cast the Skeleton Summon spell in FW, which is like Dark Rising, and then they would use the Tomb of Fated Souls, the Stitched equipment, and they would cast an AoE on their own champions, and then they'd cast an Arise, and they'd get like 5 free champions since Stitched aren't summoned. And we'll probably see that later on as we continue up. But that was one of the big first things. August 31st. Let's get into September 30th. As you can start seeing, we did it month by month, and then we started changing up a little bit. So September 30th. I'm going to take a quick drink of water, guys. If you want to start reading ahead, I'll be right there in a second. All right. Back in it again. Champions that had Spell Aegis had it replaced with another ability to debug. So what Spell Aegis was if the enemy played a spell, you would gain 5 Nora, and it could stack, I think, up to 3 times every time they play a spell, and I think it was like 8 turns it lasted. Problem was, it never dropped off. So after 3 spells were played, you just instantly keep getting like 15 Nora every spell that was played. And it was a little unfair, so it was removed from game and things were replaced by it. Champions that had Hunter Small had it replaced due to it working against everything. There we go, that's the thing. Hunter Small was an ability that if it was a 1x1, it was considered small. And the problem was Hunter Small would be triggering on 2x2s, 1x1s, shrines. It didn't matter. You're just getting an extra flat 2 damage. So it was bugged, so it got removed. Just some common fixes with the limited edition, stuff like that. Going into FS, right? Oh, here's another thing that they changed. You can run multiple spell seals again, but they're limited to one time. So you can run Nora Pearls and, let's say, Painted Statue or the KF1 in FS, but you can't run 2 of them, if that makes sense. As he shows right here, this means you cannot run 2 times Wooden Scales, but you can run 1 Tainted Statue, 1 Nora Pearls, you know? Pearls. It kind of became a jersey there for a second. All right, FS. Ferk Savant, reworked completely. Got some stat increases, some stat changes, lost some things. Most importantly, though, it gained Adaptive, and it gained Ally KF still, Magic Blast. So now it's an adaptive unit. It works really well in FS Adaptive, and it even works well in Ferk. And the main reason this got changed, I'm going to give you guys a little inside, was before it was awful. It was like 85 Nora for just a really crappy range unit. And there's a player in the game called Marcus422. He'll probably be on later in a Pox cast. But he would joke around saying that Ferk Savant wins him all the games he plays with Ferk and Psychic. So I was like, all right, let me change it so it's even better so that way you can never lose ever again. And I think funny enough was after it got changed, he's never ran it once. And it's hilarious. And it is just a little inside joke of why things happen sometimes. Jilumbrum Mender, Spell Aegis. We just talked about it. It got replaced to Spell Breach. What is Spell Breach? Spell Breach is if they cast a spell, everyone gets a +1 speed for the next turn. Pretty good. Neural Pearls, we don't really need to worry about. Night Watch got redone. Super good. He got Priest added, so he now works in Paladins, stuff like that. Damage went up, HP kind of went down, but he got a new thing where he can be able to get Provision Offense. There we go. And basically, if you equip him with a free equipment or anything at all, he becomes a powerhouse, and his Nora cost is still really low. It's like mid-60s. Here we go. This is what I was talking about. Mentalist. He got upgraded. All right. So he got Illuminate, Regen 2. I don't know what that means. Doesn't really matter. Magic Beam. That word yet again, my friends. And then Healing Mind. People take Illuminate and Healing Mind a lot, mainly because it's just really good. And Mentalist, I don't know. I don't see a lot of people playing him, but I think he's really underrated. His range is a threat. He is like, he's not as powerful or impactful as like Grimlick, but I think he is still a great ranged unit that people kind of sleep on. Great Eagle got its cost raised by 3. Aurora Investigator, cost raised by 3. You start seeing a little bit more nerfs coming in, right? Crystal Crawler became 2x2. That is going to be a meme for the next upcoming patch notes. We had a player named Frozen Duel who said it should remain 1x1, and he petitioned that it go back to 1x1 for over a year. And finally we did it. So it's back to being a 1x1. So I hope you're happy, Frozen, if you're listening. There's that attack Sonic I was talking about. A Curse Scrofula. It got Designate Scapegoat, which is super good in the Witches theme. Corruptor got added to the Witch class. And you kind of see what's going on here. We're starting to focus a little bit more on themes just for a tad bit while doing a lot of nerfs, because people are really starting to kind of witch hunt around saying this is too good, this is too bad, stuff like that. That's going to keep happening for a while, guys, until I kind of put my foot down and said, let's not nerf anything for a while. And I still believe in that. Sometimes things do pop up where we need to kind of tone it back. But for the most part, I don't think anything deserves to be nerfed anymore. I think we should keep buffing things to get... I don't want to keep raising the skill ceiling, but I don't want to lower it either. I think we need to find a happy middle ground, which is nearly impossible. I call that Fantasyland, but that's what I believe in. And I don't think anything deserves to be nerfed. I think people need to start playing in a different mindset to understand that. Here's some more Thorton changes. I know I kind of skipped some of them. If you guys want to read them, nothing really caught my eye that was super big. Cobra Spitter became KFSL. That's going to be a running meme where you see a lot of things become KF/X. And it kind of inspired this tidbit of the KF Council is ruling the patches, which is hilarious because I'm a part of the patches and I'm not a KF player. I'm a Thorton player, which is like half KF, but we really don't give a shit about speed. So But here's my contribution down here, guys. The Thorntons. Let's get back into it. UD had some small changes, nothing really big. Deep Elf Temptress became something really good in Bleed. Some people say it's not. I think it's a really good low range beater. So Thorton Gunslinger got changed. He's super fun now to play. You can run him super dirt cheap, or you can run him at 81 and just keep cycling through his piercing shot and his stunning shot. Thorton Mortor. All right, this guy got changed, and basically he was 80 Nora for no reason. He had the ability, not Siege. I'm trying to think of what it's called. Should have written it down, but he would be Size him. There you go, Size him. He has the ability Size him, and you deploy him and it destroy a relic, and it was kind of weighing him down. So now he's a lot cheaper. You can actually use his range. He has a bunch of good upgrade options, and overall, solid choice. Privateer Captain got cheaper, super fun to play, super cheap. Thornton Favored did get a small nerf here, as you can see. Damage from 12 to 10, nor cost unchanged, and then Quest Support replaced by Heal Mass 3. More stitch changes. Nothing super big here yet, and we'll see those later on in a different patch. Coming up, let's go back to the patch notes. That was September 30th. November 1st, 2020. Ranks have been reset. We try to do this now every couple months. I think our rule of thumb is like every 4 months we reset rank. It's easier. You find games, and it just makes people happy. Kind of breeds some competition back into the game. Just some minor fixes if you guys want to read them. Nothing that's really catching my eye that I should be aware of. Just some mirroring of stuff. Watershed Anchor, a relic in FS, got waterfront, so it's now a water generator. This one was mine. I really think it helped out a lot. Piranha Tempest, Lightning Blast, and Evasive 2 swapped around. So now he has Evasive 2 on baseline and Lightning Blast as an upgrade option. And it's simple stuff like that where if you're going to redo a card, or you want to buff a card, you don't need to work it from the ground up, guys. Something as simple as I always said, hey, Evasive 2 would be better on this guy because he's kind of squishy, and Lightning Blast costs 8 Nora. What's the deal with that? Swap him around. Now you can run him at like 74, or you can run him at 78. He has a lot of good choices. Everything just works out a lot better. Chilling Scale took a hit. Used to have Exertion 3, a 7-speeder with like 60 HP, and Exertion 3, not a fun time. It was swapped to Frigid Lance. That was the kind of the mentality behind it. Sanctuary of Hope still doesn't see play. It was kind of a failed move. Xenon of Sarkhaven got Rebuke 1 replaced by Hunter Cripple, and Rebuke 2 replaced by Stormseeker. He still has Rebuke 3 if you want to run it. He's still an excellent choice in Barbs. Terraformer got a huge nerf. He was just overperforming. He was really cheap, had 2 AoEs, one being Magma, the other one being Rock, and was just overdoing it. So he got tad up, got some abilities swapped off, swapped on, and became a little bit more costly. Wings of Glory, the spell, went up to 40. That's because Flying had now started seeing a big appearance with splits and just full faction IS. And that will not be the last time, I don't think. I think it goes up to 45. I'm not for certain. Don't quote me. Bliss the Muse got a rework to help out Centaurs. As you can also see, Centaur Archer also got that. It has now made the theme more playable. And that was kind of the idea behind it, was to add in a built-in synergy to Centaurs instead of just having Bliss sit back and do nothing but being meta. Nature's Balance got readjusted. Fey Enchantress gets another nerf to kind of get off that. Snake Charmer loses the class Bard. She becomes class Bard instead of Ranger. Big reason behind that was her boost ability was helping out Elves and Rangers, so she was making the Ranger BG really good. And for a long time, the KF Ranger deck was like top tier meta. Young Sapling, a summon, gets kind of the summon treatment. They're going to start nerfing summons in these next few patches, and this is one of the first ones to get hit. Naturalize goes up in cost. Inhibit Power goes up in cost. Inhibit Power being the Distract and Confusion one. Naturalize being the Relic and Summon Hate. Just things that people thought were overly good, so they just need a little bump up in cost. Mashal, yeah, that's a word. Vishal Mirrorblade becomes class Rogue instead of Ranger to kind of counteract that Ranger BG yet again. ST, not a lot of things happening. Swap got a huge nerf going to 60. Azarin something was added to try to help him become more playable. You could argue that it did work or it didn't. I still don't think he's worth running. Jacki or Jackie Globe, Ice Front added to the base. Doesn't really help it out that much. Aspect of Infinity, Aggregate. Added to the base when this champion takes damage. All of its friendly copies take damage as well. Aspect of Infinity was running away in splits. Great global detection. Had Force Barrier, and then you could just scale into it, or if you had 2 copies out from her special unique ability, you could just keep someone frozen, and she was super cheap, so people decided that this would help her out. It was a very heavy-handed nerf, but I think it worked well. Mist of the Dead, this was bugged. It was just trying to make the relic more playable. That was kind of the understanding behind it. Morrigan the Lost. This is the first of 4 changes to Morg, so just buckle up. We won't really stay too much on this one, and we'll come back at a later time and date. Grave Warrior, another summon, was nerfed. Risen Warrior from the summons also got nerfed. Undead Warrior got nerfed as well, and that's all to do with the Skeleton BG. When I say BG, I also mean Battle Group, and the reason that was getting really hit up was because people started running FWST, so you could just do a summon spam and you'd be having like 150 HP worth of summon units out that you couldn't just beat. So it got nerfed. Shatter Peaks, misleaded signage got an little ad. Doesn't really help it out that much. Cyclops Rock Shaper got a nice nerf to hit Shattered Peaks meta. Sorry, I kind of went to my happy place there for a second, guys. I do apologize. Another summon got nerfed, Crested Fesh, and Rift Spirit, another summon got nerfed. Voldak, this was Voldak's change. Unfortunately, some people think it was not very good. Some people think it was okay. His total Nora cost ends up being around 86, 88. And I'm going to be honest, I don't think it's worth it, really. I would really like to go back and try to rework him again to make him more playable. I just think right now he just doesn't have a slot. Homicidal Thug got a nice buff to him. To try to make mutants more playable. Unfortunately, people still don't run mutants, and he doesn't see much play, and it's very sad. Serpentfly, another buff. Skywind Beacon, lost, it added Desert Font. And Aspect of Violence got a big nerf to stop super champing BGs. Main reason behind this one was because people were really starting to just do some silly stuff with him, and it kind of got squatted out. France Mandalore was reworked to help out Minotaurs. From what I heard, it's working out really well, and people are really enjoying him, and he is fantastic. So if you like Minotaurs or you like Prince, go give him a quick look out on the website and see if he's for you. Altar of Votev, really underrated. I don't think people use it. The ability itself is when a demon dies, other demons on your cooldown dock get reduced. But now it has Battlemaster 2, so you just have like a 25 Nora relic that has Battlemaster 2 and UD. Okay, more damage. I'll take it. Thank you very much. Chosen of Osiris got a big Nora cost increase. It was bugged on the website for a little bit, but it did increase. He went from like being 72, 74 to now 70, I want to say 77, 79. Don't quote me on it, but it raised him up about 5, and it was well needed. He was really running people. He also got this right here. Ready 2 was changed to Ready 1, and the reason behind that is because you would deploy him, and he'd be basically an 8-speed unit, and now he's a 7-speed unit. No patches for these guys. Let's go on back up and continue. That was November 1st, everybody. We're getting through it one by one. This is going to be a longer video, and I do apologize for it, but we have to get it done. November 5th. Pretty simple. Some things we missed or some things that need to get fixed because they got broken because we didn't know what was going to happen when we changed them. Mist of the Dead was bugged. Nature's Balance having a dead ability. Naturalizing hit power swap cooldowns not being adjusted to their Nora cost. Those were all fixed. Huzzah. November 5th is done. Let's go to November 29th, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to take a quick drink of water, so just enjoy the music while I do that. All right, we're back. General fixes. Hecaton Blood Draught has been disabled due to bugs. Shimmering Flower has been disabled due to bugs. Tortalian Transport has been unbanned due to a rework. Nature's Balance has the correct abilities now. Mist of the Dead, Garu Chosen, and Rudolph have the same classes now. Wizard and Brute. A lot of champions were given alt damage types. Alright, let's just get the elephant out of the room on this one. I don't think anyone truly has enjoyed this patch. This patch was kind of someone giving you a hard candy, and it was a lemon head, and they didn't tell you, and you just popped it in your mouth, and it was kind of a pucker effect. So this Hecanim Blood Drow was banned due to... what was it? Something could happen, and you would get the effects of it, but you wouldn't get short-lived too. And it was just basically 25 Nor to get something like Bleed, Melee Specialist 2, and +5 damage. It was pretty crazy. Shimmering Flower was banned because it gave you Distract, and even if you shattered the equipment, you remained distracted, and you could even cleanse, and it would not cleanse the distraction. It was permanent distract. This one right here. A lot of champions were given alt damage types. Okay. So the main idea behind this principle was... there's a lot of attack physical, attack magic, attack fire. And we're like, man, things like Fire Eater, immunity magic, resistances, and stuff like Void Shield were really good because there were so little attack types. So what if we just spread out the attack types a little bit? Make it make sense, right? So like, for example, let's go to Folklore Swamp and make some of the Bog Hoppers attack types like Poison or, Psychic. If it makes sense to them, like a wizard being attack psychic, sure, that makes sense. Or like a rogue having attack poison, yeah, he's a poison dagger. What happened was just a great cluster, a real big foobar, and now you have things like Dark Marsh Snatcher, which is a Bog Hopper rogue, and it has attack frost, or you have like a Snaptooth tank like Craw Mangler that has like, he doesn't have it. There's a Snaptooth. Snaptooth alone is a good example. In that deck alone, you have attack, disease, magic, fire, frost, physical, and I want to say they have one more that I'm not certain of. Don't quote me, but I know they have those 5 at least. And you like look at stuff like Murkwater, Snaptooth Murkwater, who is just a white alligator on a log in his picture, and his bio reads that he's just like this warrior. And you're like, oh, he should probably have like attack physical. Like if he gets close to me, he's gonna bite me or use his claws and stuff. He's attack frost. I guess he's cold blooded. I'm sorry, guys. But yeah, it was a real big foobar. Some things did work out in the end, like some attack did work out, but now there's just some silly ones that don't work out. Like another one that gets brought up a lot is Meredith, the zombie rot dragon of Forsaken Waste, having attack poison instead of attack disease. Hey, yeah, you gotta work with what you got, guys. And this one was a miss. I think it hit on a few things, but overall it was a long overshot. Moving on, let's keep going. Psychic has now been getting nerfed in FS. Psychic was pretty powerful, and now it got a little bit touched back. Psychic Conundrum went down in cost to make it more playable. Firk Mindweaver became something with Dream Eater and Illusion Mage and Mindlock. There we go. This was the one I'm looking for. Dream State. So it became super good in meta and anything else. What Dream State is if you deploy a creature next to it in a small AoE, they gain Favor, Spell Swallower, Spell Shielded, stuff like that. It's the same thing on Pool of Dreams. And the Fairy, I can't remember the name of it because it's KF, and KF doesn't matter anymore. Quagmirion got a huge rework. He became a heal bot, if you guys want to read this. But basically the idea is he has Give Life, Water Generation, and Revere Hydraxar, and Enlighten. And when he gets Hydraxar on the field for super dirt cheap, he gains regen rank 1. And if you don't know, FS has a lot of ways to just give out a little bit of healing. So now he's healing for 8 while also giving people transfer life too. He is one of the best heal bots in the game. He is second best in FS, first being Finlord Neophyte. And yeah, he's just silly. Psychic Blast, the spell, went up in cost and cooldown. And as you can see here, Attack Frost, Snaptooth Murkwater, Marsh Raptor, the the big beast. Circadian Merchant, which this actually gets changed at a later date to attack net, so you can drown people easier, because drown's a fun, fair spell. Chronologist, I guess that makes sense. She's time wizard? Mermaid time wizard? Alright. Disease! This is just an FS alone. I want you to realize this. Swamp Thing. Okay. Timothy the Vile, that makes sense. Muck Dragon. Dark Marsh Instigator? Glowing Slider? Oh no. That's not good. Moving on. Iron Fist, Blackstone and Whitestone Gargoyle. It was supposed to be a buff, turned out to be a nerf. Hopefully we can fix that in the future. Terraformer. More of a nerf again. Barbarian Bolt and Barbarian Skybreak got a small little buff here. That was the idea, to make them more playable. It reduced his Sonora cost. Rugolf's Revenge got range 1-2. Nora cost remains unchanged. This thing can be crazy good, but it is it's a risk-reward system. You got to risk it for the biscuit. Sanctuary of Hope. I don't know what they're doing there. That was something that I didn't even know happened. So we're both discovering this out for the first time too. Conscripted Warrior. This guy was really good because if you got him early on in your draws, you could deploy it, and it would just be like a 40 Nora champion with stats, and it'd be kind of unfair. Falling Champions. We don't want to. I'm not even talking about this anymore. If you want to leak it, you can pause the video and. Yep. AF. More Centaur changes, as you can see here. Big Centaur changes to make it more playable. That was kind of the goal behind it. If you want to read it, please pause the video and you can give a looky-loo at it. Forest Dragon and Spring Dragon became absolutely ridiculous. They have Magic Acolyte, and where's the ability? Let me see it. I know it's on here. Camouflage got removed, but they got... I want to say it's Enlightened? Yeah. So now if you attack with magic, they heal like 8 HP 3 times a turn, so you just have 24 HP heals every turn. Crazy. Sprite got reworked for a more fairy. Corgi Ranger got a minor nerf because it was performing over well. Fey Advocate went up a little bit. This mistake, Jackie Shaman, absolutely worthless. Don't pay attention to her. The change was to make her something for crystals and elementals, and this is the thing that has only seen play, and it was ridiculous, and I hate this. Long's Defender, super good. Doesn't see a lot of play anymore, but I think it still has a thing because it has Sweep here, and that's just always a good ability, and it's super cheap. Arctic Tiger, damage reduced. It was crazy. It was like 66 Nora for a 20 damage pounce unit with like 65 HP, but that's just normal Savage Tundra things, and I guess that's normal. I don't know why. I play turtles, so this is what we live in. This is the world we live in. This is what society has made, and it still is crazy. And the only reason it's that crazy is because if you play it by itself, it doesn't do anything. But if you have a Lonx Beast Tamer out, then I guess it just gets real happy. Not sure. Throatwind Lonx Perseverance was removed, so now it just can't go in and go crazy and then get protected at 1 HP. Its Nora cost, though, was reduced a lot, and that was the main idea. So now it's a cheap, fast, strong beater, and Lonks are just a powerhouse. Speaking of this Beast Tamer, Drivers replaced with Invigorate 2. People said that was the nerf. I disagree. An Invigorate upgrade line replaced with Transfer Life 1, Train Defense, Trains Mobility. It was a nerf overall, but she is still fantastic, guys. Super fantastic. Yeah, there's this again. I like Morrigan change number 2. We're going to keep ignoring her. Forsaken Follower didn't do anything. I'm sorry. I don't know why it was changed this. It is. Elsari Viteri, whatever. Size became 1x1, so it's not a 2x2 old man anymore. It's a 1x1. Has Commander and is actually pretty well. I think Coven Claw got changed again, so we're just going to ignore this for now. Elsari Siren. This is a Jazzman ruin. What does that mean? Is there's a player named Jazzman who makes just silly things that are silly. And this is one of them. Skull of Decay went up to 25. It should be 45, but I'm not biased. This ability, this relic, has an ability that cuts all healing on the enemy side by 50%. For 25 Nora. Solid. Bone Circle Archmage. Nora cost increased by 1. Why? So that way if you play it turn 1, because for some reason this card doesn't have it on its stat chart, but it has preordained somewhere. Because I swear to God, there's certain players, me included, that just get it every game first turn. So it became 76 Nora. So that way if you deploy it first, you can't get a stronger second turn. Yep, more of this. The Exile got a small Nora cost adjustment. Spear of the Mountain got totally redone, basically. That's a word. I said it earlier. Just go back in the video and listen to me say that word again, because I'm not trying. Got replaced by Ghost. Nora cost remains unchanged. Basically, they'll get a rework on this soon, but the idea was he never was able to take any damage from anything but magical. And now, with Ghost, he can take damage every other turn, because he phases in and out. Deep Cave Extractor. Extract replaced with Nora -2. Why is that? Because people were running Deep Cave Extractor with this ability, which had a cooldown of 2, and it gave you 12 Nora. And you would sit there, and I played it. I played Shattered Peaks meta with that guy in there, and legitimately, you didn't need to go get your fonts. You could just sit there and still be ahead of the game with Nora, and it was super silly. The following champions had their basic attacks replaced with attack disease. Yeah, whatever. Priest of Fury got a small upwork. Still not that great. Could see a little bit of play. Vanguard got a small Nora cost increase. And the following champion had their... Yep, alright, sweet. Firemaw is actually a badass now. He got replaced. He got this thing, Lavaborn. Yeah, this makes it so he just is a badass. Go check him out if you're more interested in it. I can't do it justice here, but you'll see. His Nora cost got dipped down too, so now he's able to be ran in like the mid-80s. Kilzik, sure. Yeah, Elf. Why not? Succubus, sure. Nerf to Superiority, 40 to 45. Cooldown, yep. Mandate, also a nerf to the spells. UD meta, still to this day, is one of the best metas in the game. Chosen of Osiris got an update in the Nora cost. Broodmother Heltic, yep, sure. Battalion Transport, it still doesn't work out well. This was a member called Wolfleet. He plays a lot of Torts too, and he thought this could be doing better. People are asking to get another buff to Transport. My certain type of opinion is once we do one thing to one card, we probably won't visit that card again for a while because there's so many other cards that need our attention. And yeah, so try to future-proof your cards. That's what I do, at least. So we might visit that again. We might not. I don't know, guys. Let us come up here. Go back to patch notes. That was the November 29th. Let's go to January 1st, 2021. All right. And we're back. I'm sorry I had to take a quick restroom break. Welcome back, everybody. Let's continue. We've been in this for a long time, but let's keep going. Like I never left, right? Crazy. The power of editing. Moving on. We're on January 1st, 2021 this year. Let's keep it going. Some minor fixes were done. Hypno Frog got a small change to make it even more annoying. Super awesome. He is now super useful with Poison Burst, Mind Lock, and Confuse. Poison 2, Confuse Attacker, and Mind Siphon. These two are usually the one you want to use, the Poison Burst and Confuse Attacker, because Confuse Enemy was added to base, so he just teleports around doing silly stuff with Knockback and Poison. There was that attack net I was talking about. Angel of Nourishment. Holy crap, creativity. If you didn't notice, I don't know if we covered it earlier, but there was a jelly that had creativity, and it was removed because it was considered too powerful. So we gave it to an angel. Yep. It gets removed later, but you can see the R&D department were working overtime on that adjustment. Screaming Leviathan was given a second chance. Unfortunately, its wings were clipped, and it fell horribly to the ground in a swinging death motion, and has still not seen play except for the player named Jazzman. Guess who reworked that card? It was Jazzman. Jilumbrum Nexus loses Righteous Shield, replaced with Mind Siphon. That was a huge blow. Jelly Nexus is probably one of the most unfair and OP cards in the game because of its Invoke, which reduces cooldowns and puts the enemy cooldown on cooldown. That makes sense to you guys. And it also cleanses and dispels. used to have Righteous Shield, so you could just give something impervious. And guess what? Righteous Shield, the visual is bugged. So, yeah. But now it's still fair, but still OP. But it used to be like really broken. Overmind creativity removed from baseline, nor cost unchanged. It got nothing in replacement of that. Nothing at all. Not a single damn thing. Hey, Angel of Nourishment, what'd you get? Creativity to base? R&D, working hard. Cleansing Mist got a small up increase. There we go. I think I had a stroke for a second. I do smell toast, but I just made toast earlier. Fawn of Restoration also went to 40. That was by my hands. I feel like these spells were... They still are auto-include, but they used to be just silly. This was the Angel rework. Some Angels worked, some Angels didn't. And some things became ISKF. If there is a god, may he help me. Aspect of Divinity. It became an Angel. Angel of Mercy was laterally moved from Paladins into Angels. Angel Protection. It needs a little bit more. I don't think what we came here to do really helped. We kind of reduced its Nora cost, but it still kind of fell flat, and I think it needs just a little bit more of a nudge to get where it is. Elite Skirmisher. Attack Lightning replaces Attack Arrow. Why? No idea, because in his card art, he has the Ice Bow from KF, which gives him Attack Frost and Chill, and now he has an Electric Bow for some reason, because he's a Barbarian? Or? Please, someone, help me. This was supposed to buff the gargoyles. Again, that gargoyle has stayed in statue form since these changes. Inquisitor Magnus gains paralytic feedback at 2 Nor cost increase instead of 6. Big buff on Magnus. He's still super good, super awesome, he's played a lot. Favored Nomad and Fiora, they gained some new things, including adaptive and some weird Nora synergy. Really good in IS adaptive now. Pureblood Planeswalker loses Vengeful, replaced with Violent. There's a big nerf. He had Vengeful and he went up in cost. Barbarian Archer, this doesn't really change anything. He's still subpar. He needs more of a push to get back into thing. Attack Magical replaced with Attack Frost. Why do we keep doing this? I'm a masochist, and I can't say no to people. I'm also not in control. Remember that, guys. I am not in control of the game. I am just someone who helps out a lot with the dev and the patch notes. Barbarian Diviner. Gift of Scrying. She is an amazing card, and this was an amazing push just to make her even better. Just marvelous. Dwarven Tinkerer. Recharge replaced with Charge Barricade. No cost unchanged. Constructs to this day are still absolutely bonkers. They're just a little hard to play, and this was a good nerf to kind of check them in line. Same with the Young Paladrive or someone from Def 3 to 1. Aspect of Life became an Angel. We're not going to talk about it, but it happened. Aspects were also changed in this patch, I believe, except for FS. I think that might be the next patch where the rest of the aspects kind of fall in line. Spirit, more Angel, KF things. If you want to look at it, pause it, come back. Sporgil became KFFS now, so you can run it. And that, Sarghavian Centaur, was crazy. He was literally cracked, and he got checked in. He's still a really good card. No one runs it because 2x2. Just some more minor stuff. Savage Tundra. ST Angel became really good. I think it's super good. No one runs it, though. Excuse me, guys. I'm still having those case of the pasta burps. Jackie Maiden is a super good support, especially in Jack-Eye decks. Mind Striker, it tried to become something, and it's something. That's for sure. If you want to run it, go for it. I don't think it's very good. Frostfall Dragon and First Watcher Senshu. I want this card to be so good, and this did not help it at all. It was not my idea originally, and I have some things in mind. My thing is to check to see if we could actually switch First Watcher Senshu and Frostfall Dragon, because the black coloration in the legendary is awful and the white is beautiful, and you can tell it's the natural color. And I think it would just make the appeal of playing him more, and then we could rework him to be something better. Twisted Frostfine is now KFST. Wow, what a shocker. And it's, guess what? It's one of the best tree folk that you can run for a side font harasser. It's super solid, and honestly, it was a good change, because now it actually sees play well. Before, it didn't see anything at all. Yeti got some nerfs. They are still really good, but just to kind of help them. One thing that they were doing is to remove all of the unleash because summons were just making things crazy, and you could just like move 20 AP and still double attack. It was ridiculous. Kento got a nerf. Removed Purified for Vigorous Cries. She's still pretty good, but she's now in check. Albert got a price increase. Moragan, this is change 3. We'll come back on change 4 because change 4 was my change. Coven Claw got another little buff. She's in a good place. People still want her buff for some reason. We'll see what happens there. Angel of Death. Unfortunately, this was something that did not help it at all, and I think that we need to go back and change it up a bit because this is just... it's just not in a good place. High Warlock has now become a zombie, and it gained Ritual of Power to help with like Super Circin decks and stuff like that. Underdark Shadecaster got a small nerf because it's still crazy and cracked, but before it was even more cracked. Angel of Chaos also needs help, still needs help. This was not the change that was going to make it better, and unfortunately it didn't. Oculi Slag is now KF Shattered Peaks because KF needs more cards to choose from. Peaks do needs a little bit of help. The main reason I say it needs a little help was this is a really good change, but it got splashed onto base, and that's just a sandbag, and it makes it cost more than when it should. Mountain Lion received a little bit of a thing here for the B section. Whirling Quarry got Spike Nova 3 replaced from Rock Barrage. That was a big nerf for it. Why is it a nerf? But it was actually a really good nerf. It's still very useful and stuff like that. And the reason it got nerfed was because Rock Barrage is something that if there's one champion, it's like 20 flat damage. And Spike Nova is every time you move, you take damage. And Whirling Quarry's main ability is anytime you attack it right at the beginning of each turn, it pushes you back. It also got a small cost increase. Here's Flame Fist, nerf for some reason. Another nerf to him. All right. Oozing Slag got Healing Deficiency because there was a player running around making a Oozing Slag deck that would just crash the game. Draxar Confessor, Morph, Archer, Raven Speaker all got a change to make Draxar's better. Archer got Violent back to base. Draxar's in a really good place right now. If you want to give him a look out, I'll try to do a deck tech on him later. But this is a really good boost for the Draxar. This was something that gets fixed later on, and it's because Confessor is bugged where if her invoke gets triggered, the enemy team gains, not all of them, but in the AoE that the invoke covers, which is I believe 5 spaces, they gain 3 AP. And it got Rebuke, and it made a Rebuke deck basically where people just ran a bunch of Rebuke and then gave people AP and would destroy your stuff. Angel of War got a small nerf due to Melee Specialist 3 and Melee Specialist 2. Also got a small cost increase. The reason for it was before Angel of War could be ran at 82 and have like 9 defense, Sundered Lands bonus for 11, and have like 24 damage in Battle Master or Battle Leader. It was pretty crazy. Nefari Shockbow got a small buff to make it a little bit better. Skeleton is now FWUD. Magma Norfire Elementals got a small rework. They're actually a lot of fun to use. I don't think they're top tier, but they're a lot of fun to use. Shiel Magus became more of a bleed unit and is super fun to use. It has Blood Spurt now and Attack Fire. So a good change overall. The main reason we were trying to do that was to get away from its old roots of using Blood Magic, which it still has access to, I believe. It does not. Yeah, it does. Blood Magic. But make it more overall rounded out into something that could support the bleed or the vampires. Corona got this for some reason. She needs a little bit of help, but overall she's fine. She just needs a little buff. Just a little tiny, like a little smidgen, you know. Twisted Fire Oak. Wow. This has to be like the 10th KFUD, right, guys? Am I just imagining this? Helps out trees a lot. Wasn't really used in UD. Bowsayer Overlord, Empowered Speed replaced with Logistic Speed. He was just too fast. First it was Unleash, and then it was Empowered Speed. Man's too fast. We slowed him down. Still one of the best cards in the game. Angel of Pain gained Masochist, which is actually super good. Whoops, super good. And the reason it's super good is because every time it takes damage, it heals up 1, and then it got Nor cost reduced, and it's just overall good. Paragon of Allure, it was a miss. It was just a miss, guys. I'm sorry. Red Fist, pretty cool. Pantier Lurker is cheaper now, has Shadow Spawn, Duel, and Bounty Hunter. Reflexes 2, Scrapper, and Elusive, so now you have a side font getter in Leos. Woo! That was a big one. Let's get back. That was January 1st. We're catching up. All right, January 1st, January 31st. Let's go. some fixes up top if you want to pause and read them. Nothing's really coming to sense except for this one right here. There was an ability called Homing Sense. It was bugged, and it's supposed to teleport you. It never did, but it gave mobility, so we just replaced that with mobility itself. All right, this was a good one for Bogs. Dark Marsh Fury got a small buff, getting Violent added and some new upgrades. Bog Hopper Spitter became a little bit more with Intimidating Touch Poison 2. Dark Marsh Witch, we don't talk about her. Aspect of Growth finally got a change. It's still not great, but if you want to make a deck, it can work now. Karch the Finlord, one of the most fair cards in the game, got better, which was awesome. Base stats stay the same. You know, everything stays the same except for now, instead of having Regen 1 and Poison 1, it has Regen 2 and Rend 2. Upgrade Tier 1 is Leap 3, Bulwark, and Hit and Run. Upgrade Tier 2 is Logistics Flanking, Heart Strike, and Precision. Nor cost reduced by 2. He feels good to play now. He felt great to play before, but now he feels really good to play. He can actually have actions that are consequential, and if you run him in Bogs, you can take these thematic versions of him and just make it work better. Agar of the Deep got a small nerf / buff. It lost Slam, but it was replaced with Combo Attack Slam, but it also lost Dissipate and was given the option to get Tidal Wave. It's still 74 Nora, I believe, with you can run Bounce and Shock 1, and it has no Dissipate now, so it does more damage overall. Dark Marsh Defiler lost Adaptive because he was pretty nutty and got different things in place of it. He's still really good with the Defiling aura, and I think it's fair now. I think he's in a good place. Dark Marsh Enforcer, he was super tanky, just unkillable. He became less tanky and is still a really good pick, but is more fair now. Angel of Protection got some reworks to try to help her out. Still didn't really help her out that much. Okay, Class Priest, sweet. Angel of Mercy, attack magical replaced with attack lightning for some reason. Sounds good. Holy crap, we're at 50 Nora now for Rooting Winds, but it's still played. Favored Nomad, small adjustments because Adaptive IS was kicking butt. Aethar Forest, some more angel stuff, some things to Narya, and then some things to some young, to some summons. Interceptor, Memento, the spell went to 35 because people were starting to abuse it to get stat stacking death. And then Angel of Restoration. ST, Jackie Frost Queen gained Sovereign's Bounty. This is another controversial change. A lot of the queens and kings got Sovereign Bounty basically for free, or they got reworked into Sovereign Bounty, and people thought that was ridiculous. Some people thought it was super cool and made decks out of it. I have no comment. You guys do whatever you need to do. There's no queens and kings in FS. We're very orderly in these parts, and the Thorntons only believe in one thing, and that's gold and gunpowder. So let's move on. Long's Chieftain got a small rework. Some people thought it was bad. Some people thought it was good. I think it overall is good. It makes his cost less, and he gets Pull, Drudgery, Stall. He still has the Camaraderie on base to make Long's cheaper. Dawn Mist, the Homing Sense got replaced. Yeti Spirit got a small nerf. Jackie Extinguisher got a small nerf. Long's Striker got a little bit more better upgrades. Long's Tower got a nerf, and it was well needed because he was like 62 Nora with like crazy abilities. High Warlock, Rite of Power replaced with Ritual of Power. Lost Queen, whatever. Lich King became more playable and super fun. If you haven't checked him out, do. Voil King Rubgal. We'll call him RJ. Voil King RJ. I don't know why this happened. Liches, I guess? He's only used in Shatterpeak's FW Death Benny, but it was something. Underdark Soul Render, Homing Sense replaced with Soul Seeker, pretty good. Sirkin, Defensive Strike, and Weary swapped around. He can now be ran at a better time. And he has more of a threatening aura. Angel of Chaos, we're not going to talk about it. Like I said, she needs help still. Slag Slop, limited to set 3. Ooze King Slag got a little change. Voil King's Crypt got a little change. The Voil Queen, Storm Bunny, very uneventful. Hey, look, there's another nerf to Heinen Flame Fist. Wow. Aspect of Chaos gained this. Very underwhelming for Shattered Peaks. Some Skeezik got reworked to help out Skis because some of the Skeeziks are getting nerfed. Down here are the nerfs. As you can see, some Skeezes were overperforming and they got worked. This one was a hard one that got hit. Dune Manicorn, it lost Sand Spray and was replaced with Burning Sand Sprout. Sprout, you know. English, I know it. But this happened and it really hit SL pretty hard. UD Incinerator. The Incinerator. It got some things. You still don't see them. Deep Elf Assassin got reworked to become cheaper. She's now 81 Nora, and she can actually go around doing her thing, which is assassing and looking hot as hell. Deep Elf Ritualist. Something happened. You don't see it. I don't know why. It got changed. That's for sure. We got some more UD nerfs. POV, price of victory, went up to 45. Nefari Messenger got a little nerf. Nefari Fireslinger got a little nerf. Bach Raider got a little nerf because she was overperforming. And these are the main things. POV was in meta, so was in Messenger. Messenger still is. Fireslinger was like 65 Nora and just dominating people. Bach Raider was like 72 or 70 Nora and had initiative and would come in and then hit somebody for like 20 damage, 8 spaces away. Nefari Cave Runner had reinforcement too, and would like you deploy her and then just run into an enemy's font, which was pretty unfair because of Tunnel Earth. So she got nerfed. Xiao Demon was like 76 Nora, 74 Nora, and would just go and like face tank something. He got a small nerf, but look here, this is a buff. Perfect Aura 1 replaced with Perfect Aura 3. This is the one that a lot of people are salty on, and I'm gonna tell you right now, if you're salty on this, you're wrong. I'm gonna take a drink so you can think about your life. You're absolutely wrong. Take another drink. Pincushion. People defended this change because they said Pincushion is a hurdle. A hurdle. Not a card, a hurdle. That it could beat new players and unexperienced and unskilled players up easily, but if you were good, you could easily overpass it. And it was a hurdle the enemy could use at you to see and test your skill level to see if you could overcome it. Something along those lines. You guys are full of shit. This thing was like 70 Nora, 16 damage, 50 something health, with like Arrow Eater, damage aura 3, and damage shield 3. So you couldn't hit it with range. If you went to attack it in melee, you're taking 6 damage each attack, which then on its turn, it's hitting you for 16 damage. And then it has damage aura 3. This thing would just go park itself in any font, and you couldn't do anything about it, because guess what? It's a hurdle. Hurdle my ass. You guys are wrong. Kanan Darkrunner got a small change here to make it better. It has Deep Wounds now, and Sunder 2. That's going to be the new thing in the future. A lot of Kanans are going to get Sunder, which is very helpful to them. Let's keep going. Hold on real quick, before we keep going. This right here, if you think that's wrong, you're wrong. Just one last reminder that you're wrong. Patch notes. We were on January 31st. Let's go to February 7th. They fixed some things right here, Ritual Power, stuff like that. February 7th. February 28th. Replaced Airdrop, blah, blah, blah. Fixed Sirkin and High Warlock. Gave Interrogator, Attack Physical to fix the tutorial. Updated test for Dragon Claw, Drake Tooth, blah, blah, blah. Just some general fixes. Salaman Commando and Aspect of Growth. They have some small changes. Dwarven Windfury got a full rework. It now is actually good. It went to range 1, had sweep removed, but it got range stance and hammer throw 2 added to base, and now you can take stuff like sweep, zeal speed, stun, dodge 2, sunder 2, and vindictive. What I take personally is I take the zeal speed and vindictive. It's like 72 Nora, and you get a multi-attack 3 with zeal speed and hammer throw, and it has like 10 base damage. Pretty good. Mercy was redone. No one runs it. It's an interesting card. I tried it out. Basically what it does is you put it on an enemy. If you kill the enemy comes back with like 10 HP, and you get like a quarter or a half of their Nora cost in your bank. Pretty cool. Merchant's Quarters. Sure. That's something that happened. I think the reason this happened was because there was a bug. Not a bug, but people were doing train far shot on the Elven Prodigy and like getting like 410 range snipes across the map. KF, we have some Garu Primitive. Try to make this exotic a little bit more playable. Sapling was kind of nerfed. Young Sapling was also kind of nerfed a little bit. Woodland Portal went to 35. People say it's bugged. It is. But not in the sense that they are thinking. It's bugged in the sense that you can go to it with a champion and it gives it swap 3, and you can swap that champion out, and that new champion that comes in has swap 3. And that's not the bug. The bug is if you go to that champion and swap 3, let's say you have 2 champions, right? The first champion swaps 3 with the second champion. If that first champion goes all the way back, they can swap 3 again. So it's not putting it on cooldown, because the ability is getting added and then taken away and then added again. Why is it not banned? Whatever you just said is probably the right answer, so congratulations, viewer. Elven Tree Collar became a little bit more nuttier, as you can see. She's super good right now. Blizzard Elemental. That was one of the first cards I ever owned in the beta of Poxnora. Wind Aura. Fleshweaver Witch became really good support, and you'll see it a lot in zombies and in spam summon decks. The main reason is because it's damage into 0. It got all this new stuff like Rallying Cries, Cast Ghostly Visage, Heal Mass 2, Swap 2, Ritual Power, Puppet Master. Super good card. Boom Vendor got a small little increase here. Flesh Collar Micah got a small increase, so a little nerf on her. Cancel Magic was changed because it was bugged. If you looked in the combat log, you would see that it was showing up. So the text was changed and it went down in cost. Pincushion was given this. You're wrong. I'm right. If you think that was overzealous or an overkill, then you were part of the problem. All right, let's go to March 31st. We're almost done, guys. Thank you for sticking along. If you have been sticking around this long, I thank you. If not, I understand. Let's move into this. General fixes, blah, blah, blah. Some jelly upgrades. Hell yeah. All me. You're welcome. Jellies are another one of my favorite themes, and they're super fun to play. If you haven't played them, I'll be doing a deck tech on them, hopefully in the next couple weeks, so stay tuned. Angel of Nourishment, increased cost. I do not know if they've removed creativity yet. Guess what? They did remove creativity, because that thing is stupid, and it only should be on Bliss. Some Grints got changed, and so did Barbarian Guardian. This change here made a player named Nor That leave the game, so I do not know why he left, but he said this was game ending. Guess what? It's not game ending. Barbarian Guardian is still a great card that works well in Barbarians. Not saying he was wrong, but maybe just a little overzealous on his statement. We got some Vishal changes. Make them better. They are a super good theme. Just a little touch-ups here and there. Druid became less expensive. Quillquit became a little bit more, reliable. Woodchuck actually got Race Vishal. Elven Bard got a small nerf. She was being seen everywhere because of her Battle Hymn. Elven Strategist got a small nerf. Surge Enemy was replaced with Command Block, which you could argue that's not a nerf. Swap 3 was replaced with Cooperation. Wisp gained Evasive 2, replaced with Damage Shield Magic 2. Wisp is kind of cracked if you run her in the right decks, I'm not gonna lie. She has one with Nora, Magic Coli, and then all this stuff. Tamed Lurper got some things. Nerf. It got a nerf. That's what it got. And loyalty added. That way you get a bonus in full faction and not in splits. And you'll see this a lot. A lot of summons got loyalty because it helps them out in full factions, but not splits, because splits were really kind of power driving the game at this point. Crystal Howler got a small change. Kento got a small nerf. This was an oopsie daisy because that nerf made her 72 Nora, and I kind of gave the go ahead on that. And for a couple months, she was just one of the best cards in the game. So I do apologize. Nether Wraith got changed to Utter Dark Tendrils. It is now a support character for the Spirits theme. Has Camaraderie, Heal Mass, Trickster. It's a little sneaky snake, basically. Lich Magistrate got Spirit added, so more Spirit energy. Dark Familiar got Race Imp added. Sure. We got some Cyclops changes. It helped out a little bit, but not a lot of bit. They're still very fun to run, but the problem is right now is Cyclops are kind of split into two things. You have Cyclops and Constructs, and then you have just regular Cyclops. And the Constructs are kind of always better to go towards, so people just don't run regular Cyclops anymore. Drummer did get a nerf, though. You have to choose between Battle Drum and Battle Harden. Voil Infernal also got a big nerf. Dark Healing was replaced with Twist and Essence. And Improved Speed was replaced by Relieve. Voil Bomber. I almost forgot. Voil Bomber also got nerfed. He used to be he used to have Preparation, and he'd have like 2-9 range and like 16 damage, and now he doesn't have that anymore. He got changed with these upgrades. And just small stuff. Voil, we're starting to run a little bit crazy. You got some Skywing buffs, which helped him out a lot. Big ones are Empowered range was replaced with Logistics range. Just some helpful things that made him better, and now Skywings are a very good deck. They're probably one of SL's best decks. Some small imp changes, we'll be getting to those later on. There's more imp changes, but this helped out the imps a little bit. They're a fun BG. Not a lot of people play them, but that was kind of geared up to, was we saw no one was playing them, and we wanted to bring them back into the fold. All right, I think we're on March 31st. Hopefully, let's see. Nope, we just did March 31st, guys. I do apologize. My brain's starting to shut down a little bit. Let's go to May 1st. All right, this is the Helm one. All the Helms and all the Protectorate factions went down, and so with the Wraths to make it better. Also, the Collective was changed. It'll be changed again. We'll get to it later. Hey, look, Creativity removed. Murkwater got nerfed to 40. It's just a good spell. Everything goes to 0, basically, and just good. Quick little fix up here before we move on. Stasis Field was changed. Mark Redemption was changed. Thanks for help. This is just to make more spells playable. We might be doing this in the future again too, because what it seems like is no one wants to run equipment or relics. You have like your 3 of each equipment and relic that's like throughout the entirety of your faction, and you never change it up. Same goes with spells. You always run like the same 8 to 10 spells, and no one wants to change it up. So we're just trying to add a little bit more of a option. Same here. Same down here. Same goes for down here. Nothing really huge in this one. Just touching up on some spells, stuff like that. And it helped out. I think it worked for pretty well. May 31st. We have some quick fixes right here for you guys. This one's a big one. We focused on heroes this one. Timothy the Vile. Unfortunately, I'll update this real quick before it does. It got changed to become super badass if you want to read what it does. The Timmy part. The problem is it got changed to be this really cool long range summon guy, really working with like a death benefit FSFW type of thing, right? I figured out pretty early on that Zombie Plague was bugged, and we had to change it to Swarm Festering Corpse throughout the entire game. And the bug behind this was, if you attacked, it gave Zombie Plague. And then if you attacked again, and then that last attack killed the unit, the system was registering that 2 Zombie Plague effects were on the same champion at the same time. And if the unit died, it couldn't refresh the Zombie Plague effect. So 2 Festering Corpses would be spawned in that area instead of 1. And that's just unfair. So we had to remove it. He's still really fun and good, but not as good as he used to be, and it makes me a little sad. Bog Hopper Zombie, his summon got Bodyguard changed back. Little thing right here to the Infuse and Seasong. The reason behind this, and it's still a problem today, that some people are still kind of witch hunting, but depending on how severe it is, we'll see what happens. At this point in time, a player came back to the game, and he was very famous for doing Shrine Rush BGs, or OTK, 1-turn kill on your shrine. And he was running Infuse and stuff like that. So some things were nerfed or made ×1 to kind of prevent him from having an easier way of doing that, because he became pretty good at doing it. He had like a very high percentage win rate against everybody. Agar was reworked. He has less self-healing, but he has more tanky abilities and damage for other things. Attendant Squire was also reworked to help him get better at it. Aspect of the Divinity, still kind of tinker around with those angel changes. Bastion the Avenger got a nerf. It lost War Chief Stone Clan, so it cannot gain top 3 in warding, and it got Vindictive, so now he's easier to kill. But he's more scared because now the person owning him can cast spells as well. You know, double-edged sword. Ash the Bandit Prince became absolutely cracked out of his mind and is now haunting my dreams. I wake up in the middle of the night clenching my chest, sweating, because I see him and his band of merry men chasing me. Why do I say that? He got multi-attack and then provision offense, and also got aim and tariff, And you can now get multi-attack too. He costs pretty less. And it was just pretty bad. Give me 1 second. All right, we're back, guys. I'm sorry about that. I had to use the quick restroom break. But yeah, going back on Ash. He's cheaper. He gets 2 summons. The summons were reworked eventually because they were just too good. The summons now both have banditry, and he's still very good for the price he is. He just hemorrhages your money from you, and he has good range, and he might be needed to be tweaked later on in the future just to make it a little bit more better. Elven Page got a nerf, but also kind of a buff. Soften was swapped with Mentalist Page, so if you run Mena, she's better. Swap 3 was swapped with Magic Attack and Attack Magic, X-Bite, and Solar Flare. She now has a knockback, and she's a little bit cheaper, but you don't get the Soften Swap 3 to kind of prevent that from what its main use was you'd swap in, soften something, and then, you know, you'd just kill people because all that minus def. Tracker Narc was reworked a little bit. He can now get 8 speed. You know, he has combat attack, declare target, leap 3. Overall, good change. Narc's in a good place. Kento was increased by 5. Like I said, my bad. I do take credit for that one. And I hope the people who had fun with her because now she's a little bit more balanced. Here we go. This is my pride and joy. A good Moragan the Lost change that people actually like. HP was changed. Damage was changed. She's now undead human. She's now a bard witch instead of a zombie hero. She's made for witches and meta. Her attacks are Attack Sonic, Hero, Dazzling, Siren Song, and Cackle. What does Dazzling do? If someone engages you, the first time they engage you, everyone around you is blinded. Siren Song, you already know it. Cackle, you already know it. U1, Flourish, Defiling Aura, Abash. U2, Absorb, Prestige, Swap 3. She's just so good. You can take a swap 3 and flourish for like 82, and then you could just swap into somebody and lock down an entire board unless they have Iron Will. She's good. She's in a good place. I like her. Give her a look. Try her out if you want. Defiler Knight and Defiler of Skulls. Attack magic replaced with attack poison. Sure, why not, right? Let's just keep going. Garen the Sharp Fang was given a quick rework to be a little bit more useful. I haven't seen him since, because most people that play Kanan are always going to choose Kirigana. He's just too good to be true, right? He's now class warrior rogue. He got better. I just don't think a lot of people play him because he's against Kirigana, and she's 73 Nora for a 4-6 pack leader with life siphon and attack magic in a crone. Like, no duh. Spirit of the Mountain was given a rework. It now is Demigod Shaman. Nora cost reduced by 5. Guiding Spirit added to U1. Regal Presence and Improved Speed added to U2. Betrayal became Declement ×1 for the OTK we talked about earlier. Vex is a nightmare. It's getting nerfed in the January 1st patch. Don't worry about it, but we'll talk about it now. Damage from 10 to 11, range from 5 to 8. You know, you got Dread. It's just a long-range sniper. This was not my idea, but I gave it approval on it. It's pretty crazy. Familiar got Doom replaced by Stall. No other patches. Let's keep going, I want to say. Yes, May 31st. We're catching up. July 1st, 2021 summer break announcement. Doesn't matter. We're just kind of giving a break for summer because of people going on summer vacation. Timothy got fixed. Ash got changed. As you can see, if you want to pause and read that, go for it. Infected Zombie got changed. Vex got changed. Deep Elf Mercenary got changed a little bit. Okay, let's go. We're now here. The last patch we did. Bog Hoppers got reworked. Why? Because Bog Hoppers felt like things weren't really still working out for them, even though they got changed a while back. So we gave Huntmaster a rework, gave him Commander, and we gave the Hippo a little rework too. Worked out super well. He feels really good. Swamp Guard Crusher, the love of my life, the thing that I have tattooed on my chest. It finally got its rework that it needed, and now is a proper knight. There's that collective again. And you can now see insights. This is something I was talking to Eth about. Etherlin, he is the lead mod that is behind the patch notes that I kind of work underneath. And we work together hand in hand with the community to bring this to you guys. He started doing insights, that way you also understand what's going on. We have Earth Elemental to give Construct a little bit more of a buff. Markoth and Marcus, don't get those confused, and try saying both those names 10 times fast. See if your tongue can get twisted. They wanted him to become that, and he became that. He also got the race Troll, and it helped out the Grit Maw race too. Barbarian Exemplar got a small buff. She just wasn't performing well, and now she performs very well as the range punishment with Martyrdom, and it works out pretty well. Barbarian Elite got a full rework. He is now a staple in Barbarians. We changed him around from being this 80 Nora thing to now being able to be run at 74. He has Lead the Charge. You can take Blood Frenzy or Courage. I recommend Courage. And he has Reinforcement too if you want it, but Lead the Charge is just better, and he has great base stats. It's phenomenal. Huntress was a rework that I did with Tempest Boar. Basically, I figured out that the old Huntress had like deploy Stone Trap and Detection. It was awful. It was garbage. It was garbage, Tony. Garbage. So I reworked her to become more of a backline sniper while the Boar did more damage. So now she is cheaper. Her damage is better. She has better abilities to kind of handle the enemy. And then the Boar also got better with Thunder's Charge added to baseline and Craze Charger. So now he's like a mini Corgi Knight going around and slowing everything while also doing damage. Tathar got some Delum changes. From what I heard, it didn't really help out anything. So they might need to circle back and kind of help out later on. The idea was to give more of the Devotee of Delum and Power of Devotion stuff around to get damage popping off, but it just didn't hit its mark. Delum is something that's really hard to fix because things just don't want to seem... You have to bounce around summoning and sacrificing and stacking and kind of slow snowballing. And in this game, this day and age of the game, rushing is a very viable strategy that a lot of decks utilize, and Delum's very slow. Centaur Banner got nerfed again, and so did Thorn Trap. This one's for you, Frozen. Crystal Crawler changed to 1x1. Crystal Spike got a nerf. It was pretty good. The reason behind it was for 25 Nora, you'd get flat 3 damage on anything it equipped, and if it had range 1 or 2, it would also gain chill 5. Long's Bone Charm got a small nerf as well to Nora cost because equipped on a Lonks, it gained Pounce and Blood Rage. Pretty good, and Lonks rotate around equips. Jackie Heretic got nerfed because Savage Tundra Adaptive was completely cracked, and kind of still is, but it got reworked away from that. Unfortunately, the rework wasn't to my design particularly. It like half was, the other half kind of came out of nowhere, and now she kind of just bogged down in this weird limbo area. Soul Frost got increased because it's a cracked spell. Elder Bloodbinder got a little bit of a new thing. This patch we focused on vampires, trying to make vampires work. To a certain extent, they do work now, but they're still not where I want them to be, and it's kind of hard to balance that. Elder Bloodbinder got Dark Healing. She's super good. She can be run at 74, 75. She actually works very well in both FW meta, Vamps, Bleed, whatever you need it to work. Dark Enchantress, hit or miss. Some people say she's really good. I haven't found use for her yet. Lich King got Eternal added to baseline. Why did it get Eternal added to baseline? Because FW UD Liches were a thing, and you could play 100 Nora Lich King out, and then you'd have the respawn pot nearby, and you could sacrifice him and get Lich King out, and then gather the globe, and you'd gain literally 100 Nora, so you get a free Lich King. Was not very fun for the enemy. It was fun for me. I played it for like 30 games. I was having a blast. It was just like, free Lich King, 100 Nora, and I can just win the game. Mud Elemental got changed. Its name should have been reworked to Mud God, but it got changed. It is now a super solid unit. It has a lot of synergy around it. It has Void Shield, high HP. It's a construct. Everything's turning into a construct. Skynet is real, but it got Sundered 2, Cast Hungry Mire. It's just a super solid Shattered Peaks card now. Valdaki Guardian and Draxar Fabricar. Febreze. No, Fabricator. There we go. Valdaki Guardian and Draxar Fabricator got redone here to also help support the construct change. If you want to read them out, you can. Valdaki Guardian is super good now in Draxar and constructs, if you run it that way. Demon Vein Vampire or Vampire got changed a little bit. It feels a lot better than what it was before. Before, it was like an 80 Nora card with like just nothing going for it. And now it feels like a mini bruiser that has some survivability thanks to its upgrades and its stats and stuff like that. Still not where I would want it at, but it feels better. Here are 2 new imp changes. Imps feel like a good spot. There's still some things I want to tweak about it, but for the most part, they're doing pretty well. Midnight Whisper became super cool. It's a kind of a backline harasser with all of its stuff, with stuff like Energy Thief, Restraining Aura. You have Mischief, Shadow Strike, Phantom Dash, and Shadow Shift, so you can kind of just like jump it around. Screaming Imp was something I'm very sad for. My original idea of this champion was to make it range 1-2 and then give it Sonic Surge, so you could keep siphoning AP from your enemies, and then it could keep going around dealing passive damage. Instead, what we got was medium range. It got some new upgrades. It feels a little bit better now. It's not as bad as it used to be, but overall, kind of missed the mark on that one. Leos got some nice changes. Border Patrol now is super good looking. Chira Outrunner looks pretty decent. These are for side font. The reason behind it was for to get fonts. Leos and a lot of other themes seem like you want to just kind of turtle up, or you want to usually move in a group. And if you're on a map that you can't easily do that without contesting side fonts, it just feels super bad. So now that you have something that can actually go run and survive by itself without having to clump up in a group. Kanan got some changes here. Ritual Crone now feels super good. She's a good range. And Pillager got Sunder and is a little bit better off now than what it was. And look at that. We are finally done. Oh boy. All I can say is if you've made it this far, thanks for listening in and watching as I kind of stumbled my way through all of this. I hope you guys enjoyed. What I can say is that going forward, we already have certain ideas for the next patch for January 1st, 2022 locked in. Once those patches are locked in and are released, I will create a much shorter video detailing why those changes were taking place, kind of give you like the editor's notes, because I usually keep a Google Docs full of all of the things that are going behind it, the reasonings, what people say, stuff like that, and that's what I usually ship over to F before we kind of lock in something. So you get a behind-the-scenes peek of it all, okay, guys? I can give you a little hint now. What we're going for next patch, I think, is Folklore Swamp is going to be getting Voodoo Shamphy, and I cannot remember the other one off the top of my head. Not sure yet. IS is getting a Northern Cross Priestess rework and a Demolition Team. SL is getting Tainted Vine Creeper and the Common Draxar, which is Sand. The Sand Shepherd dude. Oh, this is hard remembering off the top of your head, I'm going to be honest. KF is getting some weird things. I don't touch that faction very often. I'll usually let Etherlyn touch it. Thorntons are getting some new things, and so are Stitch. Stitch are going to be getting into that. Shattered Peaks might be getting Club rework, question mark, and Shattered Peaks Angel rework, because I really want those to shine again. ST is getting Zevenrech. He's getting a substantial buff. And I believe the other choice for Savage Tundra at this moment is I really think we should go for the Skybreach Dragon. Frozen Duel submitted something for that, and it looked really cool and interesting. A little overpowered, but I kind of liked it, so why not? But yeah. What else is there? Well, stay tuned. You'll see. It's in January 1st. You'll see it all unfold, whatever. I might be wrong. I may be right. Like I said, I have no control or power over this. I'm just the guy that usually does most of the legwork to get it running. But hey, thank you guys for coming in and chilling out with me while I go over all of this information. If you have any questions, please hit me up on the Discord. I will link it down below. And other than that, I hope all of you guys are going to have a fantastic weekend, or day, or night, or morning, or afternoon, wherever you're at. I know we're all around the world. And I'll see you guys in the game. Cheers.